If your sewing machine stitches loosely on the bottom and leaves thread knots under the fabric, in this video I will show you what is causing the problem and how to fix it step by step. And I will also show you a part that greatly influences the upper thread tension. Therefore, it can also cause the thread to look like this on the fabric. One of the most common faults we have is when the thread bunches up on the underside of the fabric, as we can see right now. We have always known that the tension on the fabric, the thread that stays on top, is the bobbin case tension, and the stitching seen under the fabric is the needle thread tension. Therefore, that means there is no top thread tension. That is the reason why it gets tangled underneath. I am going to explain and show you what happens, why we make the mistake of not paying attention to something very important when threading our needle, our sewing machine, which is passing the thread through the tension disc. And then I will show you a very important part that we also overlook, which is very important to pass the thread through so that there is good tension. Therefore, these two mistakes when threading our machine cause the thread to tangle underneath. I will show you the two parts responsible for this happening while sewing. I will show you which parts they are and how you should do it so it does not happen again. The first part I will show you is passing the thread through the tension discs. Apparently, as we see here, the machine looks well threaded, but at a glance, if we thread it wrong or in a rush, we might miss something, and I will show you. On this machine, the thread is not inside the tension discs, so it is sewing loosely underneath because there is no top thread tension. If we zoom in, we can see how the thread is not inside the tension discs. Right now, I am going to raise the presser foot and we will make the discs open. Now, I am going to pull the top thread and we will see how it goes into the tension discs. There it went in. Now, I lower the presser foot and we can see the difference. We see that since the thread is now in the tension discs, we will no longer see it on the top side. At this moment, the machine should be applying enough thread tension. To verify that the machine is threaded correctly, we must do the following to avoid this error, whether it is because we threaded the machine wrong or because we pulled the thread too fast and did not check if it was threaded correctly through the tension discs. We are going to do the following. We will remove the thread from the needle, lower the presser foot. Why? So that the tension discs close, and at that moment, we will manually pull the thread. If we feel the pressure on the thread, it means the thread is properly threaded and is inside the tension discs. The machine should sew perfectly with good tension. We know perfectly well that if we leave the presser foot, the tension discs open, therefore they release the thread. In case we thread the machine and pull the thread manually and the thread comes out very easily, that tells us there is no top thread tension, therefore the machine will sew like this with knots in the fabric on the bottom side. Now, to show you that it works, we are going to sew, we will test it, and then I will show you the second part involved, which also, when we do not pass the thread through this part, causes the thread to bunch up on the bottom of the fabric. We turn the fabric in the end, we can see that there is now upper thread tension. We can see that it sews the seam perfectly, which we can see is this one. This is how it was looking before, and now we can see that there is good tension on this thread. Therefore, if we fixed this issue. Now I'm going to show you another very important part where the thread sometimes comes out. The other part involved in the machine sewing well is the take-up lever. You can see, suppose, I pulled the thread out on purpose to show you. So we can see that I removed the thread. The thread is not passing through the take-up lever, and we can see that it has no thread. Now we are going to sew and see what problem occurs when we do not pass the thread through this part called the take-up lever, a very important part in charge of helping the needle tension the thread. When the needle rises to the top, it begins to descend slightly, and at that moment, this part rises and pulls the thread upward to help us with the tension. When that kind of help is missing, it causes the machine to jam and all the thread gets tangled. Therefore, the machine locks up, bunches the thread underneath, and also causes it to jam due to the thread buildup, preventing it from advancing. Without threading the take-up lever, we proceed to press the pedal.
And we see that it causes
all the thread builds up, there is no thread tension, so the thread piles up and causes the machine to get clogged with thread, and therefore the machine gets jammed. We try to move the hand wheel. We see that it takes a lot of force, which we cannot do. We are going to remove the fabric and we see that yes, all the thread is bunched up some, which we can see in this seam. Therefore, those two parts when threading are very important for the upper thread tension. If the thread is not passed through one or both of them and it is wrong threading, the machine causes this. So you're going to twist the thread through the take-up lever again and see the difference. To thread it correctly, we raise the pressure foot, hold the thread, insert it, pass it through here, and pass it through the take-up lever. When we reach the spot, we go to the needle bar, and at this moment we lower the pressure foot, and we must, with our hand, tension the thread and verify that there is indeed thread tension. As at this moment, we can see there is correct thread tension in the tension discs, and we also see that we pass the thread through the take-up lever. We put the thread into the needle and proceed to sew again. Remove the fabric, remove the needle, and we can see the top stitching. Now we go to the most important one, which is the bottom. And here we can see the difference in the bottom stitch from how it was before to how it looks now. It no longer makes a knot on the bottom, just like it was doing before. With this, you ensure it never happens again, so the fabric will no longer bunch up underneath, as long as we keep in mind the upper thread tension, passing the thread through the discs and threading the take-up lever.
Remember friends, if you like this video, support us with a like and subscribe to the channel.